What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set. What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to another episode, and we are once again back together at Le Casa Le Irvin. We wanted to come here, talk about a couple things, and we were trying to find about some couple things, but we want to talk some wrestling. We got a couple topics we wanted to go in for you guys, but before that, let's get some business out of the way. You guys are watching the One Set Podcast, and make sure you guys are subscribing, liking us, and following us, all at the handle of One Set Pod on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and right here on YouTube. We're streaming and posting our videos every week on Fridays at 9 a.m. Jim, let everybody know where they can hang out with us in and around our episodes.
That is the Facebook group One Set Fam. Again, that's the number One Set Fam. Yeah, we're going to be talking SummerSlam coming up soon.
Yes.
That's one of the big four. They say Money in the Bank is like a number 5, but I think the big four are still
Yeah, SummerSlam's definitely up there.
Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm. So we'll definitely be ramping up again a little bit more of our wrestling talk leading into SummerSlam now, because we're roughly what I'd say now,
Like 7-8 weeks.
Yeah, about that 8-week mark. So I guess even in this episode, it's a good like intro to be like getting back into some wrestling.
Yeah, we tried to take a little break from it, right?
But
we try not to oversaturate the pod episodes with the wrestle talk, y'all. So
Yeah.
we're making an effort's being made, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
But
trying to see.
it's good, and even now, like it seems like in the words of our good old JR, business is about to pick up in the world of WWE. But you know, we have Night of Champions coming this weekend. However, it's in Saudi Arabia, and again, we don't talk a lot of politics on the podcast, but with everything that's been going on with Iran and the U.S. and the missiles and bombings and everything, there's been sayings of that the PLA should not be happening. I think we're both in agreement that it shouldn't be. You know, it's just way too big of a risk for talent. And even though that they've been saying, and what we heard is there's already like staff or people are over there that are having trouble leaving, or they're being like, not like kept hostage, but like they're not being allowed to, you know, travel around in that area.
Yeah,
especially in
the
like
airline
Qatar.
travel is on hold.
Yeah, it's
so
all on hold, so they can't really.
They're stuck.
Especially like equipment and everything. So how are you going to be able to do a PLE without any equipment?
Yeah. I think it's this whole, like, Saudi Arabia has poured so much money into WWE's accounts that WWE's not trying to piss them off, right?
And it's like, yeah, I mean, with that, it's like, okay, this is a big payday, so if we can make it work, it's good on our end, but, you know, I mean, I'd say because what, they do 2 or 3
2
Saudi
events
Arabia
a year
now,
in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, you're going to make it up eventually, and I'm sure they'll make it up. If they don't do it this weekend, they can find some way to make it up. They just do an extra, Saudi Arabia show later in the year, or they just, double it up for next year something.
I think it's the TKO greed, the corporate greed, where they don't want to report a loss for Q2 or Q3 because if they move it, they're going to have to pay another venue to be able to occupy that venue. To be able to host the event there.
Exactly.
They have to re-coordinate all of the travel plans where all of the equipment is going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I understand that that's a headache and the money end is not favorable for you, but like you're talking about the safety of your people.
Right.
Right? So it's like, come on.
And a lot of people are always saying like,
here.
yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to say like, just move it somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case because, like you said, there's money involved with they've already put and planted money in this spot where everything's supposed to be, and now you have to like cancel all that, then reschedule everything in another area, make sure that spot, because it's like just bring it back to America. Well. That's one thing, but then you got to find a venue that's open this weekend that can hold X amount of people. And, you got to sell tickets because you're not going to get everybody coming from Saudi Arabia over here. So now you got to have tickets sold, which they can, if they put out tickets, I'm sure they'll be able to sell tickets, but I don't think they can sell it out in that amount of time.
I mean,
hey,
here's the idea.
Don't know.
Just have it in Chicago. You're getting John Cena versus CM Punk.
That's what everybody was
in
saying.
Chicago,
Illinois. Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, why does that make so much sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
if anything, if they had that open, money.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll definitely be able to sell tickets, and there's going to be some loyal fans that will spend the extra money to travel and just spend that extra couple $100. Be like, hey, this could be the last time Cena's in Chicago, and we get CM Punk and them together. So
yeah.
I mean, if they can be able to pull that off, I think that would be the only way you can be able to guarantee people buy tickets. If they try to be like, okay, well, this is the only venue that was able to do this. So, hey, there you go. But like you said, the greed of TKO and everything, that they don't want to report a loss, which is understandable. But we'll
safety
see.
of your people, man. Like I just keep going back to that.
If you don't have the wrestlers, you don't have a product.
Right.
So I don't know how you wouldn't think, well, we got to pay attention to how our talent is going to get there, and if we can get them out of there. It's one thing if they can get in, but getting out is the problem.
Right.
So it's more like, okay, well, maybe we'll just, fly them outside of the ports that are open, and go to the ports that are open, but you're going to have to travel longer to get to there, and then travel outside to the open ports, because you're not going to be able to, just ride into, Saudi Arabia or Qatar, any of those spots, because all that air travel's flighted off.
Yep.
So it's just going to be a headache just traveling much longer instead of flying directly there.
Yeah, and let alone, how about the anxiety of the people going to perform there? They're like, wow, I hope I make it home.
Exactly.
Come on.
It's it's crazy. I mean, again, I think we can both speak for each other that this PLE shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. It should be moved at the very least.
If it can be moved, 100% should be moved. But, if they're going to have to cut a loss for it, I think we wouldn't care about it, because we'd rather be more making sure that the talent gets home safely so they can be able to perform the next week and the weeks after.
Yeah, I mean, the event's happening on Saturday. Like, I want my people on Monday Night Raw. I don't want it to be like, oh, Raw's canceled because Rhea got bombed with WWE there. Like,
then we got to worry about, then we got to have another Goldberg promo being like, well, nobody else is here, so here we are.
Oh, man.
He just cuts a promo on Iran like, you're next. Oh, Jesus.
Any rate.
Yeah.
If this event is, and again, we're recording this on Tuesday, and it'll drop on Friday. Mm-hmm. The episode will air on Friday or release on Friday. I feel like saying drop is just not the right word there.
Yeah.
Doink, doink. I hope everyone gets in and out of there safe. Like, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We have Liv Morgan is out.
Yeah. So they're saying it's like a good 6 months.
Yeah.
So,
which is awful because she got that movie deal and then she came back and they were like, we're building everything around Liv Morgan. Mm-hmm. Now they had to crumple up that paper and throw it out and rewrite everything going into
pretty much.
I mean, SummerSlam, it's in New Jersey, and that she was going to be a big part of that.
She was
show.
definitely going to be a big part of it, which
Probably
really does
both
suck.
nights.
So, because what wrestler doesn't want to be part of like a big event in their hometown and like most likely being in somewhat of a main event picture or being a focal point
Key
of that
parts of the shows
of the show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel bad for her. I mean, she's definitely, over the last year or two, like a most improved, talent that went from, the Riot Squad up until being a champion.
She cashed in on Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Became the champion and was like, oh, okay, this is great. They're giving her a chance. She really took off after the Rhea injury after WrestleMania 40. Mm-hmm. She really, like, she attacked Rhea. Rhea was out with the shoulder injury.
That's right. Yeah,
and that's when Liv Morgan started her rise to. She's one of the top people in the company at this point. So
yeah, out of those three from the Riot Squad, I definitely wouldn't have thought Liv would have been that.
No, I thought Ruby Riot was it. Like,
yeah,
she had everything going for her. Sarah Logan.
She's out.
Was she also in the Riot Squad?
Sarah Logan, yeah.
She was the third one, right?
She was the third one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was in, and then they moved her as Valhalla into the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, which
I think she got released.
She did get released. She was one of the ones that got released in the latest one with Strowman and everybody.
Okay.
And Dakota Kai. I mean, she was obviously one of the silent ones that people probably didn't remember that she was still had a contract, unfortunately. Right. But yeah, I mean, I liked how she was with the War Raiders for the time that she was. It was a cool little, off thing to kind of get them back into their like Viking type of character.
Yeah.
But then it just started like fading a little bit.
And it was like, all right, we can do without her.
We can do it without. They get the point. Now we can just like fly away.
Fly away. But yeah, we hope Liv Morgan gets well soon. Mm-hmm. I loved seeing her on TV. She was gone doing the filming for a few weeks, and it was like, okay, Raw definitely feels like it's missing Liv Morgan, and it's gonna feel like it's missing Liv Morgan for quite some time.
Definitely. So it's like now you got more women that need to like step up to fill that, and you just don't want it to be Rhea Ripley for the next 6 months trying to fill that. Because
hold it down.
It's one thing she can do it, but she can't do it by herself. You have to have like people around her to build that up. And I think with Auska coming back, that could be the next person to really have that spotlight there, facing a person like Rhea. And it seems like they're probably going to push not Roxanne.
Yeah, Roxanne's in the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
But who are you thinking? Raquel?
Raquel.
Yep.
So it seems like they're going to try to push her now. And,
it's good. It's
good. I mean, she deserves a little bit of a push, but
yeah. And it's like, hey, now or never, like, just try to see if they can get anything out of it. Yeah.
Because her and Rhea have definitely had their battles, but it's more like, okay, let's just see what you guys can do.
Right.
So
I think Raquel in the ring, given her size and ability, it's good. It's like Strowman, but it's like she needs to hold her own character-wise outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Because right now she's just been a henchwoman, like just bodyguard type.
Yeah.
So I think with Liv out and they're working her in with Roxanne, we have Finn Balor coming in basically trying to like pick up the pieces for the Judgment Day, which is great.
And depending on how long Dom is out for, this could be the time where Finn can really start dicing a lot of things up with Judgment Day, and either this gets swerved and maybe now Finn kicks Liv and Dom out, and now since they were probably seeming like Finn was going to be kicked out, now they probably have to switch it,
flip it up,
and flip it that now Liv and Dom are going to be kicked out, and I think that might be your way of getting Dom and Rey Mysterio back together eventually, you know.
Yeah, if they wanted to push Dominic Mysterio as a babyface, they could. He's over. Like, people are digging his work. It's so weird that WrestleMania 41 swerve, everyone was loving Dom Mysterio, and I was just nobody.
So I mean,
expected
if they're
it.
keeping
Even
him
Triple H was
face, if they're trying to keep him face, and you're trying to give Finn Balor, you know, eventually his demon character,
you just push him more in the heel direction, because Finn could go either way. Everyone's gonna like, he's great in the ring, but I think just character wise, he was stale when, like, before he turned on Priest. He was just kind of like, he's just Finn. He's here.
just doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this probably won't happen anytime soon now, but it looked like they were going in the direction of having like a Roxanne and Finn versus
Liv and Dom
type of thing, maybe at SummerSlam. But obviously that's not going to happen, but that can always happen later on.
Yeah, they can table that. We can get Dom and Finn at WrestleMania next year if they really wanted to drag it out.
Yeah.
I know it was getting to the point, like, if they were gonna pull the trigger on the feud for SummerSlam, we were all just like, all right, come on, we're over this. But if they are pivoting, they can make Judgment Day feel cohesive again until about when Liv's coming back around the Rumble.
I was going to just
and
say,
then you could just
Rumble would be perfect.
run it through Mania season like that.
Yep. Yeah. I was just thinking that as you were saying, you know, 6 months, you know, we're going to be talking about Rumble. So that would be, if she's ready by that point, Rumble would be the perfect, you know, number 30, you know, entry.
Which she's going to be, her return pop is going to be massive.
That'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be great. Should we talk about Night of Champions?
Yeah, let's go into that. You know, we'll quickly go over that. You know, we have
Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes for the King of the Ring final.
I'm so sold on Cody becoming heel, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not still sure if he wins, but I guess if he's gonna turn heel in the match, it would be almost, you know, perfect to just have him win. But I would still like to see Randy win and eventually get his 15th, you know, attempt. But
yeah, we've all been waiting for this match, right? Like, it feels weird that we're getting it for the first time as just a King of the Ring finals.
Yeah, because we were saying this within like the year of saying, like, you know, we're hoping we get a Cody versus Randy match, but that was when he had the belt.
Yeah.
But we're eventually now getting it as a non-title belt, but this still has some you know, stipulation into it that obviously now one of these people who wins gets, you know, to face.
They're the number one contender for their respective brands. So they're both from SmackDown. So they're one of them is going to wind up facing Cena, right?
Yeah.
So,
which they've both faced Cena. So it's like, who would you want to
run
face
it back
him again?
Yeah, I really would rather CM Punk and John Cena run it back after Night of Champions again at SummerSlam. Like, I feel like that match is SummerSlam worthy. I feel like the Punk feud for Cena's heel run is the best feud for Cena's heel run. Like, I don't know how else it can be. Like, I don't want to see Cena and Cody again with Cody getting the win.
Because if you have Cena,
I feel like it's probably going to go that way, and I'm just not really here for it.
Because I was just thinking, if you have Cena, or if you have Cody turning heel, you can't have a heel Cody and a heel Cena.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So unless you're, but especially, and we'll get back to this obviously when we do the Cena and Punk with that promo that Cena did last
the pipe
Friday,
bomb, the Cena pipe bomb,
the reverse bomb.
Yeah.
You know, he got like almost like a babyface reaction out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like he's still heel, but he's getting, you know, a babyface reaction out of a lot. But again,
I think the
Cena,
long term,
you cannot not, you know, appreciate what he just did.
Yeah, I think the long term fans like us just knew what he was doing and knew that they were doing the callback to the Punk pipe bomb.
Yep. Once I saw Punk in the table and
just laying there for 10 minutes.
Just laying there. And then I saw Cena go, and then, you know, he just had the mic and he said like that maybe first
got some stuff to
sentence
get off
or two.
my
And
chest.
I'm like, once he said, yeah, I'm like, oh, I know what he's going for.
Yep.
This is awesome. I'm like, let's watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awesome.
I fell asleep before that, and then I had to watch
Same.
it back the next morning.
I woke up just as that was starting.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, thank God I woke up for this.
Yeah, I woke up and at like, I don't know, I woke up in the middle of the night and you were like, yo, that was freaking awesome. And I hadn't seen it, so I think I saw, like, I had gotten a notification from social media that was like, that was so effing good to end SmackDown. And then I was like, I need to stay off. Like, I didn't know what it was about. I was like, I just need to catch the end of SmackDown again. I did it first thing in the morning and was like, I'm glad the internet didn't ruin that for me.
Yeah. Because then,
that's a
especially
rarity.
at like the end, he's like, you know, it's like, oh, sorry USA for like the extra 2 minutes that I cost you guys, but whatever, you know, it just breaking fourth walls and just, you know, talking whatever to anything. It was awesome. Like, especially it was one of those promos we haven't had in a while, and I think that'll probably be, if not, you know, the best promo of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
and it'll go down as obviously one of his best promos.
I mean, it's going to go down as Cena's best heel promo for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Unless it's crazy to think, like, how does it get better than that? Right?
Yeah.
I love the name drops. Claudio Castagnoli, a.k.a.
I'm not going to lie. I knew Matt, but then the other two, and then Nick Nemeth, I'm like, okay, wait, that's Ziggler. I had to look up the first one. I'm like, oh, okay, that's Cesaro.
That's Cesaro.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, everybody. So I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's so good.
Did you see Matt Cardona in one of his matches? He recognize. He's like, hey, John Cena.
Hey, John Cena. Yeah,
like, it's awesome.
It's so fun being a wrestling fan these days. Mm-hmm. Just to think back 5 years ago and be like, wow, it was so bad. It was so bad.
It was like, just predictable, and like there wasn't like a lot of like oomph in the lead up to the matches. It was just so like predictable, like, okay,
just going through the motions, man.
I mean, we know like most of the times, like, yeah, they might win, but like there's no like life to there's no life to the match and like the story of it. That's like more like the stories just didn't have any
real
reason
substance
for you to want to watch them. Now it's like, you know, sometimes the matches may not be 100, but the stories are just like more compelling to be like, okay, I want to at least see the ending of this match to see how it ends, and if we get to run it back or what happens after that.
Well, it feels like Vince was just kind of going through the motions, and the, you know, the superstars, they knew it, so they were just going out there with, like, I don't want to say no passion, but there was no real fire behind them. So there was no real, like,
you're not gonna upset the boss. You're like, all right, this is what you want. This is what you
want. This is what you get. Yeah.
I mean, as long as you keep on paying me, as long as the paychecks come in. But yeah, it's.
You think Cody wins this match?
Like I said, I would like to see Randy take it and get his 15th, but something. I mean, I think the only way. I'm still dead set on Cody becoming heel, but I'm not sure if he wins becoming heel. So
I mean, we could. This could be the start to the Cody Randy feud, and we could get them at Mania for the WWE title.
Yeah.
With a heel Cody Rhodes, because I mean, after December, I mean, heel Cody is all systems go because Cena will be gone. Mm-hmm. So,
and he could not go full heel at this. It could just be like one of those, like, okay, let's
tweener stuff.
Yeah, let's just start, like, you know, burning the fuel with it, but then not go full blast with it, but give like little hints. Even though like now with you know, how he was in the ring with Jay, like he didn't really get a word out of it. And it's more like, yeah, just go, but it's making me a little mad, but I'm holding in my anger. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely been like in that, like, I'm trying to process everything right now.
Yeah,
so
you feel like he's going to flip a switch
maybe
sometime in the next 3 to 6 months.
This is if Randy wins and Cody loses, that'll be the point where he starts even more like, okay, I need to do something because I need to get back on top. I've been, you know, a face for long, and, you know, trusting everybody. Maybe that's the thing that I've had to really, look at that. I've trusted too many people, and the people that I did once trust have all like gone against me now.
Right.
So
I am a little like questioning if we get a clean finish here, just because I feel like whoever loses this match, I don't know where they go for SummerSlam. Right?
Yeah.
So, and same thing with Punk after this match with Cena at Night of Champions. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a fatal 4-way with all 4 of these guys
right
would hit. I mean, John Cena, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Come on. I mean, if you want to really pack out SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really needed the 5th person, obviously you would have to put Jay in there. But at this point, I am just like...
I don't think he fits.
Yeah, he's just... I mean, again, he's okay to stay in the main title picture right now because he's still big and over with everybody. But that's... At this point, that's all he has. He's...
But he would be going after Gunther rather than getting in the mix for the WWE title.
Yeah. I think he'll still try to run it back with Gunther again.
Yeah, unless we get the Goldberg win.
Unless you get the Goldberg and he wins. I mean, he said it's his... Well, yeah, last match doesn't necessarily mean if he can't not win it. But,
he could win it at Saturday Night's main event and then vacate
it that next night.
And then they're going to crown the new World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. And you can get some sort of... I don't know. You could... If you do a fatal 4-way with Cena and Randy and Cody and Punk, I don't know if you're going to get a multi-man match for the World Heavyweight title too. I feel like they would just run a tournament, kind of like they just did to get qualifiers. To
Pretty much.
And then you get down to Jey Uso and Gunther again.
Yeah.
And then you just run that back. I don't see why not.
Let's go over the women's.
Yep. So Queen of the Ring, we're looking at Auska and Jade Cargill.
I think it's going to be a good match.
I mean, going into this whole tournament, it just felt like Jade Cargill was going to get this win. Auska comes back, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. We could get Auska versus Io Sky at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big match. Apparently, I just read this last night. Jade Cargill was supposed to get one of the women's belts at WrestleMania. That was derailed with her injury. So once she was gone for months, they were like, all right, we got to pivot. Yeah. So definitely feels like we could be... I mean, Jade Cargill wins, and they could be setting up for her versus Tiffy, but we get... Naomi cashes in on Tiffy. Maybe Women's Evolution. Yeah. And then we just get Jade and Naomi at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think the Naomi cash-in's coming within the months.
Yeah.
It's going to be soon.
I feel that one they're going to burn soon. I feel like Seth is just going to hold on to Money in the Bank for a little bit longer.
He's definitely just going to wait for his moment.
Yeah. Which I'm good with. Mm-hmm. I really like... I'd really rather the suspense of that carry out.
He had a decent promo this week on Raw, too, opening up Raw and just, again, going through his staple of saying, on the past and the present, and these guys are the future, and the Money in the Bank contract is the the final thing, and how I'm going to get.
He's like, everyone's fighting for second place.
Yeah, everybody is second place. Like, this briefcase is the end game.
Yep.
So I think that was one of his better promos in the last couple months.
It was pretty good. He said, he said they brought CM Punk back because they knew how much I hated him. And I was like, I feel like that's very true. They know that there's a lot of money in the CM Punk and Seth Rollins feud because, I mean, fight forever. Mm-hmm.
And him saying NXT champion, Universal champion, they pretty much made those, and he made them relevant. Especially him starting up being the first Universal champion, him being the first NXT champion in a way. Yep. So yeah, and he's got the numbers for that for sure.
Yeah. So as far as Auska and Jade Cargill, right? I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I still say Jade gets it.
I think Jade's going to get it too.
I like Auska.
I'm good with it.
I would like to see Auska versus Io Sky, but I think if how you were saying, if they're trying to get back to the point where Jade is going to be getting a championship that she was supposed to get at Mania, this is her chance to do it. So I think, you know, she gets it from Io Sky, but I feel there will be a cash in. If not, you know, before that, Naomi will be cashing in on Jade.
Yeah. I think per Jade's singles push since Mania, the Queen of the Ring fits her. Auska doesn't really need it.
No,
because Auska is a former women's champion. Like, it would be fine if she won it, but I think that Auska can take the loss and it doesn't really hurt her.
Especially coming back.
Yeah, Jade needs the win.
Yeah,
right?
Especially how she's been. She definitely needs the spark for that. So yeah, I would say Jade gets that win this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about Cena and Punk already. I don't think Punk's going to get the belt here.
No.
I think John Cena losing that belt has to be done in the United States. If they did that title switch in Saudi Arabia, I would just be raising 2 middle fingers to my screen. Just like, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you do that monumental switch?
US to get that moment.
Yeah. Unless if they wanted Cena to lose to give him a number 18, but the Never Seen 17 just has such a good ring to it. I don't think Cena needs to lose and get it back.
No.
I feel like his long title reign is like, not long title reign, but his number of title reigns, him being 17-time champion, how do you get someone to number 18 now? Especially while in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you've had all these long title reigns that go Mania to Mania or longer.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar with his long reigns. Roman Reigns with, I mean, it was like, what, 4 years? 3 years he had the belt, something like that.
And especially because
it was
Cena's
3 years.
Like going and having defend after defense this year, because obviously it's his last time, so he's trying to get that many matches in. Where this would probably, if he was in the modern day and still going, this would probably, like, he's had like what, 3 or 4 title defenses at this point. That would have been already a year's time, you know, within, if he was still doing it now.
Yeah.
But he's just trying to get it all in within this next year. So
how likely do you think R-Truth causes John Cena the title?
I was going to say, I think if he was going to lose, that would be a way.
That would be the way.
I think maybe R-Truth does interfere in the match, but he doesn't cost Cena the belt, though. And that will give us the run back for Cena and Punk at SummerSlam. Or you can, you know, you can get a triple threat with R-Truth in there.
Could.
And because, you know, R-Truth could have just signed his last, you know, year or 2 of a contract, and this is his last battle of like changing up his character, and, you know, just his last hurrah. And once he's done this contract, he's out too. So you could just be getting his last little main event, you know, upper card type of thing. So give him a SummerSlam main event.
Yep.
Even if he doesn't win, people are gonna eat that up. So
I am a little bit curious if you have Randy Orton win the King of the Ring, and then you have him actually, because they did originally say challenging the champion on the respective brand. Could have Randy Orton challenge Gunther for the title if Gunther beats Goldberg.
Right.
I don't know how they.
I think if you're going to give Randy the win, he beats Gunther more than Cena, obviously, for sure.
Yeah. But Randy having the match with Cena at Backlash, I don't know why he would just swerve over to Gunther. So I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how.
He's definitely in the realm of everybody wants to face Cena to get that belt. So it would be odd for him to just
jump over to Gunther.
Let's just go over. Let's take the easy road real quick. Yeah. So I think whoever's winning that is going after Cena.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I have Cena retaining here.
100%.
at Night of Champions. Jacob Fatu versus Solo.
This can go either way for me.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can definitely go either way where Fatu retains, because this is definitely not a one and done. Yeah, I think
we get this to SummerSlam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know, you'll probably get him facing JC at one point, and then, you know, there'll be another like final him and Solo. But then again, you could get Solo beating him and then Fatu chasing Solo to get it back.
And then you have like Hikuleo, which has been just like lurking, waiting to get put into the story. You get Hikuleo coming in, and then you get Jacob not having the belt, and then you just take Jacob and insert him into the main event picture. Like, get him, like, let Solo do his U.S. title run and let Jacob go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Kind of like what LA Knight's doing right now, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean,
that's all I really have for that is, like, if Jacob does retain here, I think he loses at SummerSlam. If he does lose here, I think he goes after it at SummerSlam and loses again, because ultimately the end game is get him to the main event picture.
Yeah, I'm honestly okay with whatever happens in that match. If Jacob wins or Solo wins, I'm okay.
Yeah. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. I don't know if this was always the plan for here. I'm fine with it. I do think that they were going to wind up trying to do Liv Morgan and Raquel defending against Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley, maybe at the Women's Evolution PLE, with Liv Morgan out.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seemed like Liv and Nikki Bella was going to be, you know, probably a main event for Evolution, but obviously with Liv Morgan being out, now they're like, okay.
They're like, okay, we don't know what to do with Nikki Bella now.
Right, like,
just twiddling their thumbs, like, we don't know what to do with you.
Do you just want to go out and just shake your rear end again and just do that for about 5 minutes? Because we really don't want you back in the ring.
Yeah.
But we got to keep on paying you somehow.
Nikki Bella must get her child support money. Oh, man.
Tell it for the people in the back of the podcast.
They did just add in Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. I'm so we've all been clamoring for Karrion Kross to get this match.
I would say, if anything, Karrion Kross needs to win this.
Yeah.
He needs to just beat Sami Zayn down.
If Sami Zayn wins, it's kind of like Karrion Kross is gone. He's on his way out.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
And I know Sami Zayn is kind of like in that stage where he kind of needs a win too, because he wants to be champion eventually. But Karrion Kross can't lose this.
If Karrion Kross wins, I think they wind up just turning Sami Zayn heel, which is weird, but that's where Karrion Kross is going with him. Is you're too nice. You're too nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's also like, if they're building for Sami Zayn to win the world title at WrestleMania, he would wind up probably going against Seth Rollins or Gunther, one or the other.
What do you think your chances of, like, Karrion Kross silently working with Seth Rollins? Because he's kind of, like, somewhat, like, philosophically in the same way, talking the same stuff as Rollins.
I would 100% love it, but
because he's always trying to be that, like, hey, think on this type of side, or like, do you really want to go this, like, and, you know, Rollins is always thinking of, you know, the future of wrestling. Karrion Kross is always, you know, in that same boat of, like, you know, what's not necessarily best for business, but what's best for that person.
yeah, I mean, I would love it. I also don't see how Scarlett fits in with the Seth faction, right?
Because you already have Paul Heyman there, so it would be not necessarily a bumping heads thing with Paul Heyman, but it would be an odd
dynamic, right? Like
an odd duo, like two, like, quote unquote side pieces. You can't have a wise man and a wise woman.
Right. Well, you had Scarlett and Paul Ellering in the Final Testament, and it was just like,
and that didn't even work.
That didn't even work, right?
No. Because they both didn't really like work together. They were both just separated. Like, you still knew that he was for AOP and Scarlett was with Kross. They never really worked together.
Right. Like I said, I would love it if they could figure it out, because then you could get Karrion Kross on TV more frequently. Mm-hmm. You can have people having to run through Kross to get to Seth, which they're already kind of doing with Braun and Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love it. I don't know that they do that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think I would see that anytime soon, but that would be something down the line of if Kross wins and he still continues this type of, manipulation type of philosophical character type thing. I would like to see him eventually work his way into Seth to see if he can, manipulate his mind into what he's thinking too.
I think Sami Zayn eats the L this go around in Saudi Arabia, and then they're doing the Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and I think Sami Zayn's winning the Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Like, that just makes too much sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give Karrion Kross the win.
Karrion Kross has to win that.
Yeah. 100%. And that is it for the United Champions card as of right now. They might add something up on SmackDown. There are 6 matches, which is kind of, they're staying within like 5 to 6.
Yeah. I think this is like the most they've had in the last
Yeah, because I feel like it's been
2 or
5.
3.
Well, Money in the Bank, you had the 2 ladder matches, right? You had the Cena and
Truth, right?
Oh. No. It was the tag match.
That's right. Yeah.
It was the tag match. They had the Becky and Lyra Intercontinental match. Mm-hmm. And then they added in the Dom versus Octagon match.
Right.
From the Worlds Collide event.
Yeah. So it's a reasonable amount, but yeah, anything can happen within the amount of time that this gets uploaded, which will be uploaded Friday. So with our statements, how we feel obviously should not be happening.
At least relocated. At least relocated. If they can find a venue, it shouldn't be happening.
If they can find a venue that can hold everything and they can be able to get everything to that venue within the amount of time, definitely.
They should be doing that.
So things can happen and things can change by the time this gets uploaded. But if not, at least we got our predictions in to see who we want to go forward and win.
I think it's starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
I know it was early.
It's going to be
with
an earlier
it's going to be an
afternoon.
earlier start.
Yep.
So hopefully work will be a little bit light this week, and then we can have
pseudo check in a little bit,
check in, and be like, all right, cool. Let me check this out in about 5 hours.
Sweet.
But anything else?
SummerSlam is 5 weeks away. That's it. It's the first weekend in August. We're at the end of June.
That's right. Yeah, it's on Aunt's birthday. So yeah, we are within 8 weeks. Yeah, so you said 5 or 6. So yeah. So we'll definitely be keeping up on some wrestling going into SummerSlam. So if you guys want, in and around our episodes, Jim,
the
let everybody know.
One Set Fam Facebook group is where it's at. The number 1 Set Fam on Facebook. Check us out there.
Yeah, we'll be, chatting it up with everybody, seeing how they feel about the upcoming matches, the feuds, and so if you want to be talking with us, in and around the episodes, make sure you go join that, and make sure you guys are following, subscribing at the handle of One Set Pod over on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube. Make sure to click that bell so you get notified every Friday at 9 a.m. when we upload our episodes. And we want to thank all our OGs and everybody on the One Set fam. And if you're here for the first time, welcome, and make sure you're joining us and joining the One Set fam. So this has been One Set. We'll see you guys on another episode.
All the love to you. On to the next one.
Peace.